Hello, I'm Ziba from Learn Persian with Ziba. You can find my course at udemy.com and you can watch it either online or offline. For more information, check the details below. I've created this course for those who want to know more about Iran, or if you're wishing to visit it one day, or if you're already planning for it, then don't miss this course and feel free to share it. This is a very short course, but I feel so excited to tell you about my motherland. We'll go through some topics such as places to visit, when to go, some cultural insights, and of course the cuisine. Let's dive into it. We're going through these topics together and I'm going to answer to all these questions. Is Iran safe? The answer is sure. You might think of Iran as an Arab country, but it has got its own culture, tradition, and language called Persian or Farsi. Media often cover the negative news from Iran only, and they kind of biased our minds towards certain things. Well, if you ask who's been already there, it might change your mind. Iran is a cold and safe country. You can wander around at night without any problem. You'll be surprised to see how much Iranians are friendly, smiley, and welcoming no matter where you come from or what your religion is. They will offer you food and tea and invite you over to their homes as they're generous and givers. A tourist is a guester, and people believe a guest is a friend of God. Iranians are famous for being hospitable. From March to June and from September to November is the best time to visit Iran. In these months, you can plan your trip freely regardless of the hot or the cold weather. And of course, make sure you're not going there in Ramadan as the restaurants are closed and it's forbidden to eat in public during that period. You should check it because every year Ramadan starts on a different date. Apart from safety, probably the desert and the Persian carpets are what you imagine about Iran. Well, about the deserts, you are kinda right. But Iran is a huge country and only the central part is a desert. Carpets, deserts, there is way more than that. The first animation of the world is on a goblet which was found in the southeast and it belongs to 5,000 years ago. Check this. As you turn the goblet, you can see the goat jumping to catch the leaves. Does this sport look familiar to you? Yeah, it's the one on the Ralph Lauren clothes. Well, in fact, the origin of this sport dates back to 600 years before Christ. It's called Chogan, and Chogan is a UNESCO heritage. Exactly at that time, Achaemenid dynasty was the biggest empire in the world. The most famous rulers are Darius, Cyrus, and Xerxes. You can find their heritage in Persepolis, probably the most famous and ancient archaic city in the Middle East. Iran is the land where Mithraism and Manichaeism were born, both of which influenced Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. It's good to know people were Zoroastrian until the invasion and conquest of Arabs 700 years after Christ. The oldest festival in the world is Nowruz, which means New Day, from 5,000 years ago. People used to celebrate the New Year with it. The favorite time of the year for me. Silk Road is the ancient highway version and it used to connect China to Rome, so it passed from different countries, including Iran. You can see the Silk Road track in this picture. In that time, travelers by camels were called caravan in Farsi, and those caravan needed to spend the night and had to stop over in a place called caravanserai, which is the Iranian ancient version of today's hotels. Nowadays, you can find those caravanserais in some cities such as Qazvin. The one in Qazvin, Sadul Sultaneh, is unique as it's roofed and it's a complex with some stores that the passengers could enjoy shopping as well. One of the main characteristics of Persian architecture is the domes. This kind of architecture is related to religion. So it means whenever you see a dome, then you're close to a mosque or mausoleum. Some of them are made of gold, some of them with blue tiles, but they all make stunning contrast with the sky. Check this picture. You can't miss this beauty. Speaking of domes, an inseparable part of Islamic architecture is mosques. Even though mosques can be found in every Muslim country, the Iranian ones are inspired by their architecture and culture. They're so famous for their blue color. You'll probably ask, why the gardens? What is so special about that? The Persian gardens are UNESCO heritage because of the designs and the fact that they represent the Zoroastrian elements, earth, Eden, plant, and water. They date back to 700 years before Christ. What's more, they adapted to different climates and their beauty inspired other places such as Taj Mahal. Now, you see why? Have you ever wondered how people who lived in the desert could get water back in the past? Well, curries, an ancient water supply, was the solution. Bathhouses or hammam. Remember the antique version of Iranian hotels? Well, hammams were not only for personal bathing, but it was like today's spa. People could relax, enjoy the hot water, as well as socialize with other people there. For this, Iranian bathhouses have got special architecture. And of course, bazaar. We can't talk about Iran without mentioning it. The roofed markets can be found all over the country. And Tabriz has got the oldest one in the Middle East, while Tehran's bazaar is 10 kilometers long. And if you go there, make sure to have some bags with you. Since Iran is a huge country, it has got diverse climate as well. For example, the north and northwestern rains, and there are forests and green areas. How about mountains? Mountains are from east to west and from north to south of Iran. You can enjoy skiing in the north and northwestern mountains. There are two seas in the north and south where people can enjoy the beaches. Damavand is the highest volcano in Asia and has a special place in Persian mythology and folklore. Damavand is 12th prominent peak in the world, very famous location for mountain lovers nearby Tehran. Ready to get surprised by the nature? Then we need to travel to the south of Iran, Hormuz, where you can find an amazing red beach and the saffron valley because of the golden color. Oh, there is more. Caves. The Rainbow Cave, Well, the name explains why. Enough about the architecture and nature. How about knowing some travel tips? And let's move past the common idea about hijab. Hijab has different styles, but this is not Iranian women's wear. Iranian girls and women wear colorful and have less conservative styles. For going in public, women have to cover their hair, or you can dress like these photos and you are good to go. And in spite of all restrictions, Iranian girls and women have been always socially active and educated. And men are not allowed to wear shorts and tank tops in public. Numbers? Then what about numbers? Why numbers? Imagine you're doing some window shopping and you're curious about the prices. Guess what? The numbers are in Arabic. Or imagine you're waiting for a snap car, which is like the Iranian version of your Uber. You need to read the plate of a car coming to you. Simply knowing the numbers makes your trip easier and they're not difficult to learn at all. Now that you know the numbers, why not talk about the money? Maybe the Iranian currency is the most confusing one. Rial is the official name for it. However, Toman is what people refer to. 1 Toman is 10 rial. It doesn't look confusing for now. Iranian banknotes are all in rial. As you see in the picture, the front side is all written in Farsi and the back is in English. For example, this is a banknote of 20,000 rials. How do people refer to this banknote? 2,000 tomans. You need to remove the last zero. However, people sometimes remove all the zeros and call it 2 tomans. Now you see why it's confusing? Let me help you. If you check this 100,000 real banknotes, you see that the number is written in 2 different colors. You can remove the lighter numbers to get Toman equivalent, which is also written on the corner. And one more thing. Unfortunately, during your stay in Iran, you can pay your expenses with your country's credit card. One solution could be using an Iranian travel debit card called Mahcard. You can check the web for more information. And of course, cuisine. Let's continue our trip. My favorite part is just here. Yes, Iranian dishes are not spicy. The main spices are turmeric, black pepper, and salt, and obviously saffron. An Iranian dish usually is a mix of polo, which is cooked rice, with stew or kebab with some side dishes like salad. Common dishes are tachin, which is a rice cake with the chicken inside, juji kebab, and kubide. These are literally my favorite. The very common stews are korme sabzi, fesenjun, and zeresh polo. Stews are really difficult to prepare and it takes usually some hours, and they're incredibly tasty. I can eat korma sabzi every day. Traditionally, each city has its own local dish. Check this map to get an idea. If you are vegan, vegetarian, or picky, don't worry, there are many alternatives. For vegans, I can suggest adasi, lubiya, ash reshte, which are like soups, and they're creamy with vegetables and legumes. Simple yet tasty. The other option for you can be any kind of polo. There is so much variety of polo in Iran. In the picture, you see polo zafarani with saffron, baghali polo with fava beans, and Istanbuli polo with potato and tomatoes. Make sure to eat Istanbuli polo with salad shirazi. Yummy. Vegetarian dishes include kukusip zamini with mashed potatoes and eggs and spices. Kuku sabzi, in which you replace potatoes with some herbs. Kashke badem jun and mirza qasemi are both made with mashed eggplants. They're creamy, healthy, yummy. I guess you already know falafel, fried smashed chickpeas. Okay, Ziba, how can we move? And how is the transportation like there? Well, in some cities like Tehran, you can use the underground. It looks confusing, huh? You're right, Tehran is a very big city. It's just huge. The good news is the necessary locations for tourists are marked on the map. Anyway, there are buses available for moving from one major city to another. They're cheap and comfortable. And lastly, any car can be a taxi, so don't wait just for taxis to stop by. And one more thing, this is an underground sign in Iran. Whenever you see that sign, it means you're close to a metro entrance. As you see in these pictures, the name of the stations is written both in Farsi and in Latin, and they can be found both on the entrance and inside the station, so you can't be wrong. And the colors. Nowadays, if you find these colors on a product, you know where it comes from. Persian red from the carpets, Persian blue from the tiles, and Persian green because of the stone. Sepas, and thank you for watching. Yes, here we are at the end of our journey. I hope you enjoyed and you found it interesting. It's been a pleasure for me to share the beauties of my country with you. Feel free to share it. In this course, you've learned some travel tips, but knowing the language for sure make your trip much easier. For this, I'm waiting for you in my course Learn Persian with Ziba on udemy.com. See you in Iran. Bye!